Israeli strikes on Gaza killed at least 23 people, including 11 in a northern Gaza home and 5 in the Nuseirat refugee camp, and that's according to Gaza's civil defense officials. Israel claims it had hit over 100 terror targets over the past 2 days in Gaza. Since October 2023, the conflict has claimed over 45,805 lives and left more than 109,000 injured. On the other hand, the Yemeni-based Houthis claimed they launched a fresh missile strike on Israel. The Iran-aligned Houthi group said it launched a ballistic missile strike on Israel's Orot Rabin power plant near Haifa. The group has pledged to continue support to Palestinians through its military operations. Israel has responded with warnings of retaliatory attacks against the Iran-backed group. This is the latest in the Israeli response to attempts by the Houthis to enforce a naval blockade on Israel in the Red Sea. Gabriel Noronha is a former special advisor for Iran at the U.S. State Department under Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and also Executive Director of Polaris National Security. Is now joining us from Washington, D.C. Mr. Noronha, Happy New Year and thank you very much for making time for us. Let's begin by analyzing the Defense Secretary or the Defense Minister of Israel. Will he be able to handle the Yemenis now that he's handling Lebanon and he's handling Gaza on one end?
Well, thank you very much for having me and Happy New Year. The threat from the Houthis is a bit of an abnormal threat. It's coming from very far distances away from Israel. It's almost exclusively an aerial threat from the UAVs and drones and ballistic missiles. And at the end of the day, what Israel has to decide is, does it try to put consequences on the Houthis itself, or does it try to penalize its backer, its funder, and its equipper, which is the Iranian regime? Thus far, they've done a few strikes into Yemen in response, but I think the issue is that the Houthis are not deterred. Iran is the one that is directing all of this, and Iran has to face consequences for any of this to stop at the end of the day. The new defense minister, I think, has his hands full, certainly, but now this Houthi threat is just causing a massive disruption to Israeli daily life, its airlines, everything.
Mr. Noronha, how does Israel or does the United States deal with Iran, if at all Iran is, supporting the Houthis in their strikes against Israel?
So the Trump administration in its first term had a policy that we announced in 2019, which was that we would take any attack by Iran's proxies, we would treat that as if it were an attack by Iran itself, and we would hold Iran itself accountable. And that's the policy that needs to come back into place. No one in Tehran suffers consequences when these things happen. It's always the proxies, the Arab proxies, much closer to Israel, who get attacked. And I think that paradigm needs to shift, where instead of giving the proxies the illusion that they're the ones doing it, we need to make the regime itself pay. That means targeting the regime's senior leadership and its own military infrastructure inside Iran.
Mr. Noronha, we saw Iran, attacking Israel, so to speak. That did not go on. We also saw Lebanon or the Hezbollah attacking Israel. That was stopped. But now Yemeni Houthis are claiming or are becoming the new problem. Why now? Why does the Houthi rebels want to escalate this situation even further? Why now?
So part of this is, again, a strategy from Iran. Hamas and the Hezbollah had to basically either be destroyed or they had to make agreements with Iran, with Israel to save them from total destruction. And so the Houthis are the only ones left who, again, have the ability to still strike Israel. They still have some capabilities. And this is intended to be a slow driving force to slowly degrade Israel's capabilities, its willpower, its morale. Things like its travel and tourism industries are suffering massively here. And so Israel's been very wary of using its limited resources and its limited arsenal against the Houthis. Same with the United States, with its conflicts against Russia and China on the horizon. The United States isn't eager to use large amounts of munitions on what are relatively unsophisticated adversaries.
All right, Mr. Gabriel Noronha, we'll have to end this discussion here. Thank you very much for your insights and for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.